Hello, this is Brian Rowe with Mythic MTG Tech number 274, looking at March speculation and investment for 2016. Got a lot of stuff going on, but before I jump in, if you want to see more of these investment videos, consider donating to the Patreon. My goal for the $350 level is to turn these into weekly videos instead of monthly videos. These videos take a lot of time and research to make happen. At the $1 level, it's a huge thank you, helps support the channel. You get access to the financial slides early. At the $2 level, I do a one-time pack opening and send you the cards. And at the $5 level, your name is added to the credits. Let's dive in. We've got a lot of stuff going on. First, the Eldrazi Plague is about to end here. Modern is going to become popular again. Wizards got hit really hard. I know a lot of stores that canceled their Friday Night Magic in Modern, and even a larger event at 1K that just canceled the event entirely because of the Eldrazi. And after we see either Eye or Temple banned, you're going to be able to play Urzatron again. You're going to be able to play Connected Company again. Take some time, look at those older deck lists. There are some great opportunities to get into those decks now, just as that banning is going to be announced. I will be shocked if they don't actually ban either the Eye, the Temple, or both. Things like Urza lands, long-term, the original antiquities have a lot of value to them. You can find sets of them pretty reasonable on eBay or at stores. Be aware that there are different commonalities, though. Some of these showed up a different number of times on the printing sheet. So make sure you know which ones you're picking up. Maybe I'll do a separate video on these to help people identify them. Gather does a great job, though, letting you know which are the rare ones. I would just choose the pictures that are your favorite and get a set of whatever pictures. As the Plague ends, some of these are going to be worth holding on to. I'm focusing here on the Eldrazi Displacer because it is an amazing standard card. It is a great card for EDH, and it's very, very reasonably priced. I would buy it now, even with the ban coming. Sower, either of the versions, I would definitely also consider picking up at this point. Pauper is doing really well right now, but we've got a bunch of reprints that have been announced. The fact that we've got a Commander set coming out, a Eternal Masters set coming out, and a Conspiracy set coming out before the end of the year means that any of those commons that are over that $5 to $7 range, you really want to look at getting out of right now, even if they move them up to or keep them at a later printing uncommon level, they're going to lose some value. One of the big ones right now is Oubliette. I know I mentioned selling it recently. It did basically double in price since my last video. I still recommend selling it. A $30+ common is just crazy. Very cool card. I love the term Oubliette, this prison where you forget people, and it really has this sense of the most corrupt power out there. Great card. Would love to see it reprinted and hope that it does. I wouldn't want to be caught, though, with more than a playset of these. If you're playing Pauper, they're great for Devotion specifically. Also, be aware that there are A and B printings of this. The difference here is the number 1 in the casting cost. In one of the printings, it's very easy to read it, and in the other, it's very, very dark. Some people consider those to be different cards for collectors of the complete set. I don't. I've always been a player. I do prefer the darker one a little bit more, and that tends to have a little bit more value to it. Although most people right now don't care. They just want to play the card, and they'll go for A or Bs. Shadows over Innistrad is here. We've got a lot of really interesting cards. This is one of the high-risk ones that I'm actually suggesting to buy. It made it into my top 10 video for Shadows over Innistrad. This is a card that could do really well the first 3 to 4 weeks out of the gate, and then as people figure out how to play Control also, it will probably drop off. I'm trading for an extra playset of these right away for some decks that I'm brewing, and then I'll be trading them away in a few weeks if it does well. In Standard, I would also sell Anguished Unmaking right now. This is going to be a great card, but it's going to do really bad against the aggro decks early on. It's got a high price for a rare. This set is going to be opened a lot and drafted probably even more than your average set. the price long term on a rare like this is going to drop. I don't believe that this is legacy playable, so it's not really an abrupt decay type card, and $8 is rather high right out of the gates. We've got some really cool cards in this set for Commander. We don't have foil pricing for them yet, but Altered Ego has one of my favorite phrases on it: cannot be countered. So good for Commander. If this is a cool looking foil, this is going to be one of the 2 best clones out there. Now we've got the new Shadowlands. I'm not sure if that's the nickname that's going to stick with them. I really, really like these guys as a one of in Modern. So your value on them isn't huge, but foils in particular could be very valuable for particular decks. Look at what decks do really well after the Eldrazi Plague is gone. Pick up singletons of these in foil for those decks. For Commander, this is one of my favorite cards from the new set. This is really a Dark Depths that has been fixed. Flying, Indestructible, Lifelink, and Haste. Really easy to trigger in Commander. I would look at picking the foils up of these. They're going to be very reasonably priced. I would sell the non-foils. I think it's going to be actually pretty tough to play this, except in some edge brews in Standard. So sell non-foils, pick up foils here. I had a question on my last video, which was over the top 10 cards from Shadows over Innistrad, which is, what is the real value of boxes? Am I going to make my money back if I crack a bunch of boxes? There's a lot of math being done to try to figure this out. Star City Games' Wes Wise has a whole article where he does a bunch of math and comes up with $142 a box is the estimated value. Saffron Olive, who is one of the top Magic finance people out there, came up with a very different number, about $104 as your expected value out of boxes. You can compare their math. Oh wait, you can't, because Wes Wise's article is behind a paywall at SCG. It's interesting to me that SCG comes up with this much higher financial value. I've looked at the math for both. I'm with Saffron Olive here, and the pre-order prices on boxes I think reflect this lower value. When you crack a huge amount of wax like this, you have a very short period of time to turn those cards over. 4, 8, 12 weeks from now, the expected value is going to dive on these cards as they enter the market in mass. Unless you have a giant internet store, you can lose a lot of money doing this. If you want to build play sets so you can build anything in Standard, that's one reason to do this. But if you're planning on trying to make money off of it, the window is so short in time that I don't recommend this unless you have buyers ready to go. A lot of people are asking, should they pick up Jace now? Should they wait a few weeks? Jace is going to be amazing in this new set. I would hold on to them. If you can find a deal on them, buy them. If any of these Madness cards are good, Jace is going to be the enabler to make those decks amazing. I'm holding on to mine. I'm holding on to them long term. They could jump 20-30% here short term. When they rotate out, they'll probably drop back down to this level. I don't see them going much below this current 80 to 90 level because they are very, very good in the post-Eldrazi Modern also. A lot of Standard stuff, though, that I would strongly recommend selling. Sidisi, Liliana, Deathmist Raptors, the current Chandra. None of these cards have proven themselves in Modern or in older formats. They're going to see some play here in the next few weeks. They could even go a little bit higher, but I would get out of them now and then wait to pick them up after rotation for your Commander or your casual decks. Caltius, I really, really like this guy. Might even be edge playable in Modern, but comparing to Bremaz is about half this price. Unless you're playing him right now in Standard, now is the perfect time to trade him away and then pick him up at half the price a year and a half from now when he rotates. Eternal Masters, I'm going out on a huge limb here. You got to guess on something. I am avoiding any of these staples that could easily be reprinted. I'm hoping to see Imperial Recruiter in the set, even at Mythic, at a $60 or even $80 Mythic. It would make the red decks so much better in Legacy. It is probably my only really crazy guess here. Flusterstorm, Toxic Deluge, Vampiric Tutor, Mazavith, these are all cards I highly expect to see go through your EDH decks, check the reserve list specifically and see if you've got some cards that you're just not playing currently that could very likely be reprinted in Eternal Masters. You could end up picking up several cards that you want in exchanges or trades if you end up with the right guesses here. Shardless Agent, currently at $20. We've got a Judge foil coming out for Shardless Agent. It's not going to affect the price of Shardless Agent at all. I would hold or even buy an extra playset of Shardless Agents. This is a wonderful card in Legacy, solid playable card in EDH. Yes, it could be in a future set, but I don't see that as super likely. On the other hand, I've never really liked Temporal Manipulation. EDH favorite, it's dropping very quickly right now. The Judge foil is really killing the price on it. So we've got two examples here where Judge foils are going, in one case, to destroy the market for Temporal Manipulation, but probably not affect the market for Shardless Agent. We would really need to see a whole nother reprint to drop the price of Shardless Agent. Ooh, the Toad. I don't even know what to say about this guy. I am avoiding him right now. He's crazy. This is a brewer's dream. There's a lot of stuff going on here. 5 casting costs, though. Eternal formats that are competitive are not going to like the 5 casting cost. EDH is going to love the 5 casting costs. 6/6, draw a bunch of cards, play some fetch lands. Seems like a fun card. I'm waiting a few weeks. Hopefully the price will drop, and then picking up foils for EDH specifically. I'm also going to watch your deck brewers out there and see if he makes a hit in any decks. If he does, I'm going to grab my playset right away. I make mistakes sometimes. Mana Drain. I thought it would come out at about the $250 to maybe $400 range. I can't find these anywhere. Nobody is moving them. The asking price that I see on major sites when they have them is $800 plus. I know a few people trading them at that very high range. If you can move these at that $100 level, do it. I don't see why the value is so high on this card. Yes, it's a wonderful vintage card. It sees some EDH play, but not being legal in Legacy should be limiting the value, and this $800 price tag looks inflated to me. Pendrell Miss. This is a card that has doubled in price recently. I didn't even know this card existed. I mean, I played during Weatherlight. I hated cumulative upkeep or upkeep at all at the time, and I did not realize that this card was even still around. It's a reserve list card. It's a crazy good card in EDH. I like this as a potential pickup. Tabernacle is really high. Pendrell Miss has same effect on an enchantment that is really easy to get out. Look through the reserve list and see if there's some fun EDH cards there that are low priced. I think even at this card doubling in the last week, this is still a solid pickup. Sorin is at an all-time low right now, $7. This guy is modern playable and a great EDH card. I would start trading for them. I can see him recovering in price over the next few years. Sorin is one of the more popular planeswalkers, and this is a competitive, playable planeswalker in some modern decks and a great EDH staple. We've got TITI, Thing in the Ice right here, and a lot of hype around it. It's going to be tough to actually get it to flip in Standard, and we're going to see a lot of them flood into the Standard environment. $20 is too high of a price tag. I believe it's going to be a few weeks before we find the right deck for it, although I'm sure there is a deck out there in Standard with the new Jace. I would just wait for it to drop in price before jumping in. Hunted Horror has jumped in price. This is a card that I would liquidate. It looks like an interesting little combo here, but it's not good. Any chance you can get rid of a card like Hunted Horror while it's hot, I would definitely do that. A lot of power is on sale right now. I'm in the Vintage Magic group and in Magic the Scattling, and I see posts all the time for people liquidating their power. I don't know what is going on financially with power. The prices actually seem pretty stable, but if you have cash to spend on power, you can get a really good deal right now. If you're looking to get into power, I would do it before the release of Eternal Masters. People are going to get really excited about Vintage and about Cube when that set comes out, and these are going to go back to slowly climbing. Right now is a decent time if you've got the liquid capital to get into a set of power and have that long term. There's some wonderful EDH and Eternal staples out there that are reasonably priced currently. Null Rod has jumped a lot. It is one of the most powerful cards for shutting down Moxes. Even at $30, I still have it on my buy list. Treachery is my favorite control magic ever printed. It's a free control magic. It's wonderful in EDH and it's only $13. Gilded Drake, $23. Edge playable legacy card. I really like brewing with it in Legacy, and an amazing card in EDH. Well worth picking up at that $20 range. Tabernacle is up another 5%, putting it up around $900. This is a card long term that has the same value trajectory as Moxes. I would hold on to these. It is also seeing a lot of play in lands. In fact, it's the reason that more people can't play lands in Legacy. Chokehold that this very small printing has on that very good deck. I would hold on to these. I would not trade them away unless I was trading into a Lotus, an Ancestral, a Sapphire. Other pieces of power like a Pearl, I would rather have a Tabernacle over a Pearl or a Ruby at this point. Volcanic Island is at an all-time high, but this is the best Eternal dual land. Dak Faden has made a splash in Eternal formats. Volcanic Islands, there's 25% less of the black border alpha beta because there were no alpha Volcanic Islands. Long term, this is going to equal the price value of your Underground Seas, if not become more valuable. I would definitely hold on to it. To keep up on Magic Finance, subscribe to the channel. Thank you. This has been Brian Rowe with Mythic MTG Tech. Thank you to everybody who's over there supporting the channel on Patreon. I greatly appreciate it. Until next time, choose the cards wisely.